Welcome to Golf Smarter Mulligans, your second chance to gain insight and advice from the best instructors featured on the Golf Smarter podcast. Great golf instruction never gets old. Our interview library features hundreds of hours of game improvement conversations like this that are no longer available in any podcast app.
You know, most people say, oh, I'll take that one. Now, that's an interesting expression. Don't you have to take that one? It's golf. You know, they say, oh, I'll take it. I say, yeah, you have to take it. That was your shot.
No, you know what? I'm going to go out and play this afternoon, and I swear the first guy to say, I'll take that, I go, no. Sorry, that one doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Yeah, you have to take it.
No, you can't take it.
I'll take it. No, you want to say, yes. That's the way I hit it when I do a good routine and trust my swing. You say something that reinforces your preparation. So if you keep reinforcing the preparation, your preparation will keep being better. If you have a picture of the target and connection to the target and the shot you want to hit, that you've done your breathing and gotten settled, and if you reinforce them in the post-shot routine, then they'll keep getting better. If you just say, yeah, that's how I always hit it, that's a great confidence builder.
With another interview from the archives of Golf Smarter, here's your host, Fred Green.
Welcome back to Golf Smarter, Dr. Joe.
Great to be here, Fred.
Happy anniversary, my friend.
Thank you very, very much.
10th anniversary of Zen Golf. Are you amazed that we're still talking about your book?
I'm always amazed because I went into it with very, very few expectations. It was my first book. A literary agent had heard about what I did of using Buddhist mindfulness practice and Western psychology to teach the mental game of golf. And she said, that sounds great. Let's work on a book. And lo and behold, Zen Golf came out of that. Zen Golf, we decided to subtitle it Mastering the Mental Game. And it came out in May of 2002. So this coming month is the 10th anniversary.
And what were you doing before you wrote this book? Were you?
I was teaching the mental game in golf.
You were.
Yeah, it's really important for people to know Zen Golf is not a theoretical book. It's not a book on Zen philosophy and how the experience of golf is like the experience of Zen and quiet mind. And it's really a practical application of the practice of mindful awareness, of the practice of the psychology of the game, performance psychology, which I was teaching as stress management in business and performance psychology in business and in individuals and life coaching before I started teaching golf. But I had already been teaching golf and I'd already worked with pros, so that Zen Golf is a description of the lessons that worked for all levels of golfers. That's why it has been so successful. A lot of people come up and I was giving a talk. I was giving a talk to the Beverly Hills Rotary Club the other day, and the guy who introduced me was talking about the book, and he said, have you ever read a book where you felt like it was written specifically for you? And a lot of golfers tell me that they feel like the book was about them. And it is. It's about how all golfers' minds work. And so that's why it's been so universally accepted, and that's been hugely gratifying for me. I'm humbled and honored.
Oh, and we're humbled and honored to have you on again. Was Zen Golf something, that phrase, that term, was that always what you were doing, or was there a moment when you were preparing the book and you went, oh, Zen Golf? Where did the Zen go? Where was the chicken and the egg on this?
Well, it's an interesting story because I was originally going to call it Enlightened Golf. A lot of the teachings in there came from what's called the Shambhala tradition. It's like the Asian version of Camelot, of enlightened society and nobility. The principles are discipline and humor and friendship, which I apply in my teaching, and I got from my Buddhist meditation teachers, and one of whom I played golf with. That's a really amazing experience to see someone with that kind of mastery of the mind applying it to golf is really what inspired me. to be able to do this. It was called Enlightened Golf. The publisher said, well, the salespeople think that that's a little soft as a title, and you have Zen stories in the book already. We're thinking it should be called Zen Golf. And I said, well, I don't know. I'm not that thrilled with that. It's okay. But, and the editor said, well, there are two ways we can go. It's your book. We can call it what you want, but I just don't think the salespeople are going to get behind it. And I said, okay, let me see if I understand this right. I call it what I want, but nobody ever gets to see it. Or you call it what you want, and people will read the book. I said, call it whatever you want. I want people to read the book.
Yeah.
So they asked me to add a few more Zen stories, a couple of which I did, and a couple of which I took my teachings, and I wrote and crafted stories in that model. So I actually wrote little Zen stories to go with the teachings in the book. And as it turned out, they were right. It's a great title, and people really connected to it. So it was a win-win.
Well, when it first came out in May of 2002, I was fairly new to the game, and if I remember correctly, I was in the San Francisco airport on a way on vacation, and the book jumped off the shelf at me. And I read it while on vacation and felt like it was speaking to me as well. And so when I started thinking about doing this podcast and having conversation actually with a good friend of mine from radio days, my radio days, a guy named Leo Laporte, and anybody who listens to podcasts.
Oh, yeah. I've heard him on the radio.
Yep, he is the tech guy, and he's also one of the godfathers of tech podcasting and of podcasting. So he and I got together for lunch, and I was saying, so tell me about this podcast thing, because I have this idea that I want to pursue, and I think it would be an interesting way of approaching a podcast on golf. And I'd never done anything around golf before. I mean, I was new to the game, and I'd been in sports marketing for a while. And he said, well, look, whatever you do with it, make sure that the first show that you have features somebody that is recognizable, that has a name that people will go, oh, right? Because if you can launch it with something like that, then you may get some traction. Mm-hmm. So I thought, I'm going to take a shot, and I reached out to you, and episode number 1 of the Golf Smarter podcast is Zen Golf with Dr. Joseph Parent.
I remember. That was great.
And here you are now in the 300s.
Well, it's been a wonderful journey together, and I really appreciate it.
You want to get that?
Nope.
Okay.
We're all good.
Thank you. If you were to write Zen Golf today, what would you do differently?
Well, I would do the chapters, which are 2 to 3 page chapters, pretty much the same. I would do the model of stories. People love the stories, and the anecdotes about lessons, very, very much the same. It would be refined. I have some additional material which has come out in Zen putting, and then some more came out in Golf, the Art of the Mental Game. And I have another book. I guess it's going to be Zen Golf 2 or Zen Golf 10 years later that will expand on a lot of the contents, and that's in process right now.
Okay. All right.
So you'll see what it'll look like 10 years later.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that you would pretty much go the same way, because it still speaks to me. And it's still if people have not read this book, and you're at all if you listen to this podcast, you must buy into the idea that the mental game has a powerful effect on how you play golf. And this is where you should start. This is the book where you should start. And I'm really happy to say that I recently announced that our book section on golfsmarter.com has returned, because Amazon and the state of California have made an agreement. So Zen Golf, Zen Putting, and Golf, the Art of the Mental Game are all available on golfsmarter.com. And you should definitely, if you've not read it, go get them now.
Well, thank you, Fred. And we have gone multimedia, And these, obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, you're a listener.
Yep.
And all of my books, all three, are available in audiobook form. I read them myself and produced them, and they're the full book, not abridged.
Can we pick out a couple things in Zen Golf and talk about the relevance? As you know, I've always told people, I said, look, the thing about Golf Smarter is the conversations that we have are evergreen in nature, meaning that if you go back to episode number 1 with Dr. Joseph Parent, this is exactly what I say, go back to episode number 1 with Dr. Joseph Parent of Zen Golf, the tips and messages that you get in that episode are just as powerful today and useful today as they were when we recorded it in 2005.
Well, that's true, and that's why it's been very gratifying that 10 years later, Zen Golf is still on the first page when you search for golf books on Amazon.com, because the message still resonates and the mind hasn't changed. The way people's minds work hasn't changed. They still get in their own way, and they play better when they get out of their own way. So that's really what it's about.
And that's the line that stands out from episode number 1. I teach golfers how to get out of their own way. That's what you said. All right,
still saying it. Still saying it.
It still resonates. So I want to. It's hard to condense, over 130 pages into one section of a podcast here, but we've got some time, and I would like to talk about what the P.A.R approach that you have, the preparation, action, and response to results. Can we just do an overview on that as a taste of how good Zen Golf is? Can we talk about the P.A.R approach?
Sure. That is the basic structure. And when I talk to people, I say, well, how do you get out of your own way? It's easy to say, just get out of your own way. And a lot of sports psychologists will say, stay in the present, clear your mind, free your swing. Yeah, well, that's easy to say. And people say, yeah, well, they say to do that, but right now I'm not doing that. How do I get from a muddled mind, an uptight swing, and my mind full of the past and future to where you want me to be? That's the key to Zen Golf, that I give people a path to get from where you are to where you want to be, rather than just saying, be different. No, you need a path to become that different way of looking at things, to take that different perspective. So the P.A.R approach simply represents beginning, middle, and end. That's why it applies to business and life coaching that I do, that you have a preparation for everything you do, then there's the action, and then there's some consequence. And what do you do with the feedback? How do you respond to the results? And you want to respond to the results in a way that makes your preparation and action better next time. So it's a cycle of continuous improvement. You prepare, you act, you see what happened, and then you make your adjustment, and you do a better job with the preparation, and then the action turns out better.
One of the things that I have noticed in myself and in golfers that I play with, that here in your response to results, which I was introduced to this concept in your book, and it's still not the easiest thing to do, because golf, you're always talking about your last shot and your next shot, your last shot and your next shot. But the post-shot routine, so critically important, but so easy to forget.
That's true, and that's really where some discipline is necessary. If you make it a habit, it's not that hard. And there are 3 aspects to the post-shot routine, based on 3 different levels of the results that you get. If they're really great results, then I want you, most people say, oh, I'll take that one.
Yep.
Now that's an interesting expression. Don't you have to take that one? It's golf. They say, well, I'll take it. I say, yeah, you have to take it. That was your shot.
No, you know what? I'm going to go out and play this afternoon, and I swear the first guy to say, I'll take that, I go, no. I'm sorry, you don't get to take that. Take it again. Sorry, that one doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Yeah, you have to take it.
No, you can't take that.
I'll take it. No, you want to say, yes, that's what, that's the way I hit it when I get out of my own way. Or that's the way I hit it when I do a good routine, and trust my swing. You say something that reinforces your preparation. You see? So if you keep reinforcing the preparation, your preparation will keep being better. You'll have if you have a clear image of the shot you want, a picture of the target and connection to the target and the shot you want to hit, that you've done your breathing and gotten settled, and all of those aspects of preparation, if you reinforce them in the post-shot routine, then they'll keep getting better. If you just say, yeah, that's how I always hit it, that's a great confidence builder. Mm-hmm. Now, what if you have an okay shot? Wasn't great. If somebody said, do you want it over? Yeah, I would take that one over, but it's usable, but I would take it over. Then I want you to say, oh, that was close. And make another swing that you would have rather made. If they said you could take it over, what swing would you make? And what you're doing there is you're erasing the last swing and replacing it with a better one. So you never leave that spot. You never leave your spot with a bad swing. Otherwise, if you make a swing that you didn't like, and it goes to the right, chances are the next one you'll make a swing that makes it go to the left, and you'll be playing army golf, left, right, and just compensating all over the place. You want to get rid of you want to replace what you did with what you would rather do, and then you'll leave that spot feeling like you made a good swing, and you'll find a key in that better swing that you'll use to put into your preparation. Say, I need to feel this in my practice swing so that I can execute in my next shot. Now, the third situation is if it's really sideways, what I call shots with very little redeeming value. And in that case, almost always, it's not that you forgot how to swing the club. There was a significant amount of mental interference. Maybe there was trouble on the right and you snap hooked it to the left. Well, you did a good job of avoiding the trouble, but you didn't hit a very good shot. Or you were so excited about how it was going to turn out that you looked up long before you hit the ball and you topped it. These kinds of things happen. You have to recognize, don't change your swing, change your mind. Change your mindset beforehand and do your preparation better and say, you know what, I'm not looking up until I see the club head go through the ball or through the grass. That's one of my favorite, actually, for high handicappers who tend to hit shots thin. Usually they're coming up out of it looking. So I say, watch the club go through the grass. Well, if it's going to go through the grass, you're not going to hit it thin. Mm-hmm. So these kinds of things are what you need to do if you hit a really sideways one. Don't think that your swing is that bad. Think that there's a lot of interference to that swing and you need to get out of your own way more. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And those are the three aspects of the post-shot routine. If you keep doing that, you'll actually improve during a round. It's how you stop the bleeding if you're hitting a number of bad shots. It really keeps you on track and makes you better as you play.
And something that similar to that we talked about when Zen putting came out, and it's a line that I've used for years. I've repeated your line for years, and this year when my buddies and I traveled on our annual golf weekend, somebody used that line. I went, that's my line. He goes, yeah, well, what do you think I heard it? And it basically is on the green where he had a great putt. It didn't fall, so the line is, you made the putt, you just didn't hole it.
That's exactly right.
I do give you credit for that.
I appreciate that. I decided to change the definition and change the language because usually when we say I made the putt, that means it went in the hole.
Right.
But I want your confidence to be more based on execution. You know, PGA Tour players from 8 feet away, they only hole half of their putts.
Wow.
So we're going to probably hole less than that. And that means if our confidence is based on how many go in the hole, we're not going to trust our putting stroke very much. But if we feel like, you know, I executed the putt I wanted, I just misread it, or the ball hit a spike mark and didn't go in, then it isn't a matter of execution. It's a matter of reading it better or recognizing that greens are not perfect surfaces. So I separate it out, and if you rolled the putt And you know it after it comes off the putter. If it's going in the direction you want, it came off the sweet spot, and it's rolling just at the pace you want, you made your putt. Then you see if it's going to go in the hole. If it goes in, then you hold your putt. So we separate out making and holing. Making is something you can control. Holing, you can get the ball started, but after that, a lot of other factors are involved. And so, there was
few.
Dave Peltz did a study where he rolled 10 balls down a ramp on a very nice country club green from 12 feet away, and only 7 of them went in.
Wow.
And that's down a ramp. That's like a robot.
Controlled.
That's like a robot rolling the ball, and it's the exact same putt, but only 7 out of 10 go in. So we can't control that completely. What I really want players to understand is if they can, putting is like a relay race. If you're running a relay race and it's a 2-person race and you do the first, the best you can do is run your leg of the race the best you can and make a good handoff of the baton. And after that, all you can do is root for it. So in the same way, you move the putter, you transfer the energy to the ball the best you can, and after that, all you can do is root for it.
And referring back to this post-shot routine when someone says, well, I'll take it. My tendency, I know it's still funny. I'll take that shot. My tendency now will be to say, no, don't take it. Buy it. Own it. What did you do right?
No, you can. I like that a lot better. And the group that I was out with yesterday, it was a client appreciation group, a businessman and 2 of his clients. And really, at the start, everybody is just picking every shot apart. And I said, as soon as you do that, as soon as you start saying what's wrong with it, somebody said, oh, I pushed it. I said, really? Is that a news item? We thought you were aiming. We thought you were aiming at that bunker to the right of the green. Come on, obviously you pushed it. You don't have to proclaim it to the universe. Yeah, we understand.
Just doing play-by-play.
I said, why don't we say I hit it on a really good trajectory? It's pin high, just the distance, and if I'd hit it 10 yards left of there, it would have been a great shot. So what do I need to do? Maybe I was aimed there. Maybe, I left the face open a little bit, but it was close. Instead of picking out what's so wrong with it, say, oh, that was close. There were a lot of good things about it. And I liked what you said, Fred. That's really a better idea. Instead of I'll take it, you say, why don't you say what you liked about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to talk about one thing, okay?
Please.
And this connects with putting as well. And it's really a somewhat scientific approach, and that is simplifying the variables that are involved, not mixing them up. You can cut this out if it's too complicated, but in science they talk about confounding variables. If you have 2 or 3 things going on at the same time, you can't tell what is affecting what. The other way of describing what I'm going to talk about is a very simple thing that everybody's parents have probably told them when they were a kid. Say, do one thing at a time. Finish one thing before you start the next thing.
Yeah, right.
Okay? One thing at a time. Finish it and then do the next thing. So I want to do that with putting. Once you've read the putt and you've chosen the line you want it to start on, and you set the putter pointing right down that line, and you set your stance so that the putter will swing down that line, that's the first thing you need to take care of. And you say, I got the direction. I'm done with direction. And you make a commitment. Where I've chosen to set that putter and aim that putter, that's the direction I'm hitting this putt. Mm-hmm. So every putt is a straight putt from that point of view.
Right.
But it's the starting line of the putt. Gravity's going to affect it or grain's going to affect it. Then once you're over the putt and you're in your stance and your grip, then you take a good long look at the length of the putt. Uphill, downhill, how fast the greens are. Get a feel for the pace. How you need to roll it to make it go the distance you want it to go. And you say, okay, I got the pace. Now, here's the interesting thing. When you look back down at the ball, bring the picture to your mind of what you were just looking at. And then roll it into the picture. So you take care of the path, you take care of the pace, and then you put a good roll on it. Mm-hmm. And when you roll it into the picture, you're really reacting to a target the way most hand-eye coordination sports do. You know, if you're throwing if you're shooting a free throw, you don't look to the side and shoot the free throw at a 90-degree angle to where you're looking.
Yeah, hook shot.
but if you're putting, you do. You're looking down, but you're putting to a 90-degree angle from where your eyes are looking at. You're putting straight left if you're a right-hander, but you're looking straight down. So what I want you to do is shift the mental image from what your eyes are telling you to a memory of what you saw when you took a good 2 or 3 second look at the whole path of the putt. And then you putt into that picture. And that's been tremendously successful in my teaching putting the last couple of years. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That particular routine. You say it to yourself. You set the putter in your stance and you say, I got the direction. You take a good long look. You say, I got the pace. You look down and you say, roll it into the picture, and that's it.
Yeah, when I was getting a little stumbled there, I was trying to remember that, and I do, that how often I play with people who pick apart, and these are people who maybe never have had a lesson. They watch, the Golf Channel, or they just watch on TV, or they've played golf with a friend, but they'll pick apart every single shot as if they are the teacher, and they know exactly what they did wrong, and yet they're focusing on the wrong things time and again.
That's true. That happened to me yesterday with this group out, and the guy said, oh, I pushed it. And I said, no, you didn't. He said, what do you mean? I said, you hit a great shot right where you were aimed.
Yep.
We spent most of the day on alignment. It was really amazing. People
on your lessons, you spent most of the day.
In the lesson, yesterday. Almost every hole I had to call somebody off of the ball and say, really, did you want to hit it straight into that tree? They go, no, I wasn't aimed there. I said, yeah, you kind of were. And we lay the sticks down. They come back and they go, oh, you've got to be kidding. That completely didn't feel that way. And I say, old saying in golf, what you feel isn't necessarily real. Yeah. I said, if aiming right felt straight, then aiming straight is going to feel like you're aiming left. Okay, well, you have to believe the sticks and what you've laid down. So we're on one tee, and the guy hits the ball, and the other 18 handicapper says, you did this. And I said, no, he didn't. Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I said, please stop telling him what he did, especially when it's wrong. So
you're paying me to be here, damn it.
We do it to ourselves.
Yep.
And then we're all that helpful, and we do it to others. And it's like the Three Stooges of people three guys who don't know what they're talking about, teaching each other and getting more and more confused. Mm-hmm. So it's quite an experience. And when I was telling one person something, the other guy says, what did you say? I said, I wasn't talking to you. I said, this was about him. I don't want you to hear this because you'll put this into your game and it's not about your game. Right. And I explained that Harvey Penick taught Ben Crenshaw and Tom Kite for 20 years. And for those whole 20 years, neither one was allowed to listen in on the lesson of the other one ever.
Wow.
Ben Crenshaw never was there for a lesson that Harvey Penick taught Ben Crenshaw, and Ben Crenshaw was never there for a lesson that Harvey Penick taught Tom Kite. I don't know if I said that right. I better say that again.
I think you got. I think we got.
Ben Crenshaw was never there for a lesson that Harvey Penick taught Tom Kite, and Tom Kite was never there for a lesson that Harvey Penick taught Ben Crenshaw.
Okay, why don't you give me one more time in a different order, and then see if we... No, I'm kidding. We can. I can edit this all together. Well, listen, we've run out of time for today's show, but can I invite you to come back, because I have so many more questions. I would love to do a members-only episode with you. And a couple things you had... before we started recording, you had been talking about some lessons that you've been giving, 3 different lessons last week that I'd like to talk to you about. Also, I want to talk about short game routines.
Absolutely.
I would love to. All right. Well, again, happy anniversary, Dr. Joe. I'm so happy for you that Zen Golf has not only been around for 10 years, but it's been so successful for 10 years. Again, the book is Zen Golf, Mastering the Mental Game by Dr. Joseph Parent. Zen Putting is there, and also The Art of the Mental Game. And, of course, go to zengolf.com. We will have links to it on our website. If you click on Dr. Joe's name in today's show notes, it will take you to zengolf.com and sign up for his free newsletter. Dr. Joe, we'll talk to you again on our next episode, all right?
Thanks very much, Fred. Appreciate it.